Guys, today's case I'll be sharing was actually solved using a billboard in Tampa, Florida. A family from Ohio, Joanne Rogers, and her two daughters, 17-year-old Michelle and 14-year-old Christy, went on a vacation to Tampa. This was the family's first time ever leaving Ohio. Joanne's husband, which is also the girls' father, Hale Rogers, stayed behind at the home to care for the family's dairy farm. It was June 1st, 1989, when Joanne and the girls were at a gas station and asked a local man for directions to their hotel. It was during that conversation that the man offered to give them a sunset boat cruise that evening. Joanne was reluctant, but after Michelle and Christy did some persuading, they all decided to go on this boat cruise. It is believed that they boarded Chandler's boat at the dock on the Courtney Campbell Causeway between 8:30 and 9 p.m., and that they were dead by 3 a.m. Housekeeping staff noticed that their room remained uninhabited for over a week, at which point they contacted the manager, who then contacted the police. It was a couple days later, on June 4th, that the Tampa Bay Police Department discovered the bodies of 3 women floating in the water. They were half naked and had ropes bound to their arms and legs, and 30-pound concrete blocks tied to each of their necks. The autopsies revealed water in their lungs, which indicated that they were alive when they drowned. Fingerprint matches to the bodies were made from those fingerprints found in the room, and final confirmation of their identification came from dental records sent from the Rogers dentist in Ohio. Investigators found Joanne's abandoned vehicle parked at the boat ramp and obtained 2 notes from inside. One note was directions to the hotel that they were staying at in Joanne's handwriting, and one was directions to the boat ramp for the sunset cruise with handwriting that did not belong to Joanne. The note was sent to a forensic document examiner to identify any unique handwriting styles from the handwriting. Once the news went public, a Canadian woman named Judy Blair informed police that she was raped while also taking a sunset cruise on a blue and white boat with a man in Tampa. She said she believed that she was not killed because the man knew she had a friend waiting for her return at the boat ramp. This information led the police to believe that this same person could be responsible for the Rogers family murder. Several years go by with no identity to who was responsible for these murders and rapes. All they know was that it was a man with a blue and white boat in the area, and they had a sample of his handwriting. The police eventually decided to use the sample found on the note inside Joanne Rogers' car and post it on a highway billboard in hopes that someone would recognize the handwriting and call in a tip. Within a few weeks of the billboard being up, a woman named Joanne Steffi called the Tampa Bay police because she believed the handwriting belonged to one of her neighbors, Oba Chandler. After the police looked into where Chandler was on the days of the rapes and murders, they learned that he was indeed on the water during both days. Forensics were also able to match Chandler's fingerprints to the note found inside Joanne Rogers' car, which proved he was the one to write the directions to the boat ramp for the sunset cruise. Oba Chandler was convicted and sentenced to death. During his prison sentence of 17 years, he was not visited by one friend or family member. He was eventually executed by the state of Florida on November 15, 2011. Let's take a moment to remember the victims, Joanne Rogers, Michelle Rogers, and Christy Rogers.